You've stuffed already, haven't you? We are so happy right now.
John Torode is in the kitchen with a delicious midweek dinner. And, you know, you do the show like this, got lots of lovely bits, lots of really serious bits, and we've been so looking forward to this.
This
a little
potato.
bit of comfort.
Well, how did I not know about these potatoes? I'm 41.
Oh, you have to get to my age to find out about them. That's a long way away for you. Right, so we're going to do a spiced lamb. It does take 5 hours. It's one of those things you put in the oven and you leave it, and then you take the kids to sport, whatever it might be. The reason I do this is that I like things in the middle of the table, let people eat whatever they want. So the centre piece is this shoulder of lamb. Then I've done pickles and all sorts of stuff. We'll talk about the potatoes in a second. But to get the shoulder of lamb to work properly, there's a couple of little tricks that make it better. A lamb shoulder can be really quite fatty. So what you do is take a knife and you score it really, really deeply. And I mean really, really deeply through that fat. So what happens is the actual fat melts in the oven. You put that...
And melts away.
And melts away. You put that on some onions. Now, there's a trivet there with some onions, and what that does, it leaves the heat will circulate across the top. Onto that, I'm going to pour a load of lemon juice.
Oh, why?
Because the lemon juice actually helps the fat to render. And it also helps to keep that lamb and make that lamb lovely and tender so that when it falls apart. So that's the way to do it. In a pan here, I've got some spices, various spices. The recipe's all online, so you can get it whatever you like.
A lot of spices? There's quite a few there.
There's a lot, yeah. Coriander, fenugreek, cardamom. You don't have to use all those if you don't want to. Use some garam masala mix, use a curry mix, anything you want. If you want it to be Mexican, use paprika or something completely different. But then you just do that and then squash it, but don't pound it completely. Just squash it a bit. I'm going to pour that across the top of the lamb. Just sprinkle it all across the top of the lamb. Just put it all there. Into that, then, I put a glass of white wine. Wine goes there. And then I chuck a lid on it. Not a bit of paper. Chuck a lid on it, and it goes in the oven for 3 hours. 3 hours, 160, don't touch it.
All right.
Just let it go, that's done. After 3 hours, then what you do is now the next bit. I just got to wash my hands because I touched raw lamb, sorry.
All right.
Otherwise I get in trouble. Somebody will ring up and say, bad boy. So now what you've got is you've got this amazing lamb in the oven, and out it comes, and you'll see it's sort of cooked really beautifully. There's nicely, and there's looking good. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out for a second, and I'm going to take a whole tin of chickpeas with the water. Just going to put that in the lid for a sec. Whole tin of chickpeas with the water, and potatoes, little potatoes, which I've peeled. And I'll put in the juice.
Have you cooked them already? No.
Just slightly... I've just blanched them for a second, but not very much.
Are those new potatoes?
Just new potatoes, just peeled. Yeah, and just put them in there with all that liquid. So you think that's all the lamb juice and everything else at the bottom.
Yeah.
The chickpea water and the chickpeas, because chickpea water thickens things. It makes it thicker.
Isn't it what you make vegan meringue out of?
That's it. Yeah, aqua de fava. Then just take your lamb, put your lamb back across the top, and then what happens is that now is going to go into the oven, back in the oven. I'm going to take some juice and pour it across the top.
Well, that's why those potatoes are so delicious.
Yeah, and that goes in the oven, and then again, you leave it for 2 hours.
That's lid off.
Lid off. So it goes back in the oven, lid off, and funny enough, I've got one here, which is all done already. And then what happens, you see, is it starts to go a little bit more crispy. The potatoes start to go a little bit darker, and then you don't want to make it, you know, be really smart and like, really flavoursome. So the potatoes, you'll sort of notice, have got sort of like almost a creamy texture to them on the outside of them.
Yeah.
But the good thing about this is I love a one-pot wonder, but, you know, a one-pan wonder is an amazing thing. But that lamb now is completely... It looks a bit dry at the top, but it'll pull apart with 2 forks in a second. You take those lovely potatoes and chickpeas, mix it all together, and then take some coriander and some mint if you want. Drop that in the thing. And then a good tablespoon of yoghurt.
Oh.
You take, yes, it's yoghurt. Somebody in the box to try to correct me. It's yoghurt, guys. OK? Where I come from, it's called yoghurt.
You can't get away with that.
It's still called pasta.
Yogurt.
Yogurt. Mix those together, and then it starts. You've got the joy of all that lamb. If it's got a bit too much juice in there or too much liquid, just drain it off and keep it. And I've got some here. All I do is just take that with that lamb and pour that across the top before I pull it apart and shred it.
I am so making this.
Oh, good. I'm really pleased. And then take that, and then what you do, this is the cool bit, I think, As people talk about pulled pork and stuff,
Yeah.
I find pulled pork very, very rich. But if you just take those forks, and now you'll see what happens, the lamb literally just falls off the bone and falls apart. And you could sort of put that in the middle of the table, but you see it's just completely gone. All that fat's melted, all that's done. All I can is people there, that like that. Then you take your bowl of potatoes, and really you've done your sort of good things. You've got potatoes, you've got chickpeas, you've got some herbs, lamb, spices. And as I say, put it in the middle of the table, buy some flatbreads, don't worry about making them, and you can buy things. You can buy tzatziki ready-made, or you can make it if you want. Buy hummus.
You've got hummus there.
Peppers.
You could do pittas as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could do pita bread. So here I've just got, you know, like a tortilla sort of wrap of flatbreads, you know, whatever you want to do. And you wrap up any way you want. Or you have it as a meal. Or what you could do is you could play aeroplanes. Pretend you're going on holiday, right? You sit down somewhere near a window, put a tray on your lap, and just like pretend you're on an aeroplane and you're going on holiday somewhere. Because that's what I'd like to be doing.
And it's, well, snap. And it's spring lamb as well now. Spring lamb season.
Spring has sprung.
Yeah.
The grass has risen.
Support our British lamb farmers.
That's it.
That was so delicious. Thank you. Those potatoes are an absolute revelation.
I don't want it to end.
I know. Well, don't let them take it. Guard it with your
I'm
knife.
still going to be sitting here at about 3 o'clock, I think.
Tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank
John.
you. For details of today's recipe and more delicious ideas from our chefs, download the free This Morning app.